Hello and welcome to Chat G&G. I'm Gags, he's Grizz. We're back together again. And, well, things seem to go from bad to worse, Grizz. And I think, firstly, how's your week been? You been okay? You should be
Gloomy, 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 just like Liverpool. It always, do you know that phrase that they say when it rains, it pours? And
pouring right now.
it's pouring right now, Gex. It's pouring right now. Yeah, just generally as well. Everything seems to be down, gloomy, dark, just like things at Liverpool as well. It's just we're hoping, but there's always hope. There's always hope in our heart, as they say. You know, we walk on with hope in our heart because we have to, because we must. We must walk on, keep walking, and we know nothing lasts forever, including rough times.
No, rough times, they don't last. They don't last. There'll always be an end. We'll always be out of it at some point or the other. I think the main thing we want to talk about is where we stand right now, but we'll get there. Let me just get this tweeted out since we haven't tweeted it yet. I'm just going to click on the show and right now. Oh, there you go. You can hear me. There you go. Right, here we go. We reposted it. And I've just put, come and join us talk. And join us talk. Arne Slot. Because that's where we're starting. Arne Slot. Unless you want to start somewhere else.
No, that there is only, I guess, one way or one place to start, and that was with the man where the buck stops, whether we like it, whether we don't, whether we're a fan of Slot, whether we absolutely despise him right now. The buck always stops with the coach. Very rarely do you see players pay the price. There's never a huge selling on of players. Very rarely do you see the sporting director sacked. Sometimes, but it's always 75, 80, 90% of the time is the head coach pays for it, unfortunately. And if this doesn't stop, if the rut doesn't stop, if the bad run doesn't stop, then unfortunately, Arne Slot will no longer be the Liverpool coach.
No, exactly. And I mean, I tried the Nottingham Forest game for me is where things changed for me personally. You know what I've been like? I've been like, give him a chance, give him a chance, give him a chance. But at home to Nottingham Forest, who were 19th at the time, changed everything for me because it was the start of an easier run, a start of a run where we should start picking points up and doing better. And if you can't get your team to do better in this type of run against teams that you should do better against, and it wasn't like they were playing long ball or anything like that, it was nothing like that. It was, in fact, they just hit us with good football. And for me, it was the first time, and I came on here and I said he's got to go, but I wasn't angry because, to be honest, losing, I've got used to it. Like I got used to winning. You become creatures of habit, and I'm not angry anymore. I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed at what we've become. I'm disappointed at how we're playing football and what we're doing. I'm not angry at Slot because I loved everything he did last year, and I'm very thankful. But I also recognize it's not good enough, and he's got to go because if he can't turn it around with this team, with the players that he's got, he just needs to go, and we need to bring someone else. Now, are Liverpool ready to bring someone else in? I think that's what's going to be the delay here, and what's going to be that takes time for him to go, in my opinion, is how quickly Liverpool can find someone else. Because Grizz, 9 losses out of 12 is unheard of. I did it on the post-match. I went through Hodgson, Souness, Evans, Benitez, Rodgers. None of them have had this run. None of them. None of them have had a team lose 9 times in 12. None of them has had a team that's given up on their manager like this. Because let me tell you something. You don't go from champions to this just because you turn shit. It's because something's not right in the squad and with him, with the manager, between the players. You just don't give up on managers like this. And the Jota stuff is not an excuse. Yes, they'll be a part of it, but something's gone wrong with the culture. Something's gone wrong with him and the players. And for me, like you said at the start, that means only one person ends up going.
Yeah, look, I've been like you in terms of I don't want to have any, and I know people are sort of going back to last season as well. I'm knee-jerk reaction. One way of looking at it is only game week 12 or 13. But way of looking at it is look at our record from last season. But then obviously you throw in the caveat that we had won the league. But then people are saying, but then even preceding that, our performances were taking a bit of a dip and you could see issues developing. It's a strange one. It's a difficult one to comprehend. Far, far more knowledge people than me have been asked the question, what's going wrong? What's gone on? Who's to blame? Far more intelligent and well-versed people than me in the Liverpool circles. But I say the same thing, Gags. I say the same thing. And it's the only way, in my humble opinion, to look at it. It's never one person's fault when the glory comes, and it's never one person's fault when the downfall starts.
100%.
And I think it's a collective, Gags. I genuinely believe that the recruitment and the head of football planning, i.e., Edwards, Hughes, are not equally to blame, but proportionately to blame for this situation. Because we discussed it, and you won't remember, but I will remember because everyone remembers their good points. During the summer and all the transfers and everything else, I kept talking about the balance. We need to get a few things done. I love all these star names and I love the Verts. And I said, look, he's world class, whatever, but until he does it for Liverpool, I don't care, and the balance and the player profile, player X leaving and player Y coming in as the profile replacement didn't quite match up and make sense. And I guess, he's head coach, like we've been told, like we were told, and his job is to hear the players, very much like the European model. Here's the players, and you got to make it work. And we can make excuses like I'm seemingly making for him, but they're the true hard facts. He hasn't made them work. And I agree with you. Ultimately, 9 defeats out of 12 is not acceptable. There is no excuse, whether it's the mentally fragile, the mentally weak, the injuries, the fitness levels, all of that are mitigating circumstances. But ultimately, and I always say this for other coaches, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite and not say the same for my own manager. A top world-class coach doesn't let his team, regardless of the situation, lose 9 games out of 12.
No, I agree. I think a lot of things you said there were similar to what I was thinking in the window as well. We were excited, but we needed a left winger to replace Diaz. We really did. We said it. We both were like, there's 2 positions missing, a centre back and a left winger.
Yep.
And we would have gone to 9 or 8 or 9 transfers at that point, and we'd be like, crazy, that's mad. But we knew something was going to be off. And the Gehi, not getting Gehi in on the last day has actually become a sliding doors moment for Slot, because let's be honest, the squad suits 3-5-2 or a version of that 3-4-1-2, 3-2, 4-2-1, whatever. The squad suits a 3 at the back way more than it suits a 4-3-3 or a whatever he wants to play with it right now. And Gehi coming in would allow us to do that. Now, obviously, the Leone injuries also hurt Slot. So there's a couple of things. I'm not making excuses. You got to do the best you can. He could have still tried to play it if he wanted to, but he hasn't. But the Frimpongs and the Kirkekezes, even Robbo, would have way more suited 3-5-2s. Way more. Bradley too. Bradley too would have loved a 3-5-2 on the wing because he loves to go forward. It doesn't have as much defensive stuff. And then your midfielders can stay in that central area and don't need to go wide and support anywhere. Now, what that does for Mo, what it does for the strikers, it's fine. Mo having 3 up there, even Gakpo up there, to have swapping around with Isaac and Ekatike up top, could have worked for us for now until we sorted things out. But that centre back coming in seems to have hampered him. Leone getting injured seems to have hampered Slot. He got away with it for 5-6 games, winning in a row, 7 games in a row, including cups and Champions Leagues. And then it all fell apart very quickly after Leone got injured. And to be honest, like you said, yes, it's down to recruitment and things like that. Some of it we can't help if a team or a ownership changes their mind. We're not selling a player to you on the last day after we knew most of it had been agreed for a while that it was going to happen. At the end of the day, that's hurt us. But like you said, there's only one head on the block, unfortunately, unless Richard Hughes. People see that Richard Hughes has made a mistake here too by trying to save pennies when you've spent so much, trying to save pennies to get Gags cheaper at the end, which didn't work. Had he paid the 5 million extra, maybe early on, they probably would have sold him to us, and it would have given the 5 million extra to go and buy a player more, for them. So at the end of the day, yeah, things have not gone his way, but there's still a great squad there, Grizz. Like, it's still really, really good. And the fact that he's struggling to motivate them, which is where we are, let's be honest. When you get to a losing streak like this and you can't get him out of it, Klopp got this team out of losing streaks before, he did.
This
He was
is
the
actually,
motivator, and this guy can't motivate the team. What the evidence is showing, he can't motivate the team.
while I elaborate on some of the points that you made, I don't know if you can dig up. Jonathan Norcroft has written an article. I don't know if you can find the headlines of it or some quotes from it with regards to the situation with Slot. If you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. We share it. But yeah, in terms of, I was going to actually speak about it. When we were talking about sort of agenda and talking points for today's show, because it's doom and gloom and everybody wants answers. And I was going to rack your brain and people that are watching, listening, to see what happened for us to get out of the rut that we were under Klopp in the COVID season. So do you remember we lost X amount of games in a row at home, etc., etc., and then suddenly the tide turned and we ended up winning. I think we ended up unbeaten in our last 13 or something like that in order to secure the Champions League spot. I wanted to know what the turning point was, or what he done differently, and was it a formation change? And for what I remember, it wasn't a formation change, was it? It was, he just decided to play centre backs back at centre back, even though those said centre backs were Reece Williams and Nat Phillips. Before that he was trying Henderson, Genie, etc., etc. So I think it's fair to say, look, the formation change theory, I'm not convinced it's simple as that. In the middle of a season where players are going away on international duty here and there, he hasn't even got enough centre backs to probably name 2 on the subs bench. Never mind 3 at the back. So I'm not going to suddenly say, oh, he needs to change to 3 at the back or 5 at the back, whatever. You'll find most coaches are very stubborn in their formations and their methodology and their philosophy, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's tweaks to be made, absolutely, but a wholesale radical change in terms of how he perceives the game being played, I don't think it's as simple as that in the middle of a season with injuries and games every 2-3 days. I don't know what you think of that as well.
I've got a quote for you if you want it.
Yeah, let's go through that.
There is internal calm about Slot's recent travails. Performances have been better than results, and there is recognition that Slot is dealing with a perfect storm of complex issues caused by everything from the loss of Diogo Jota to a temporary, it's felt, shift in how football is played. Where will Liverpool finish? Anywhere from first to fifth is one senior figure's view. I mean, yeah, that's a whole load of excuses for me. I love John, and John's a good friend of Anfield Index, and he's only reporting on what he's obviously spoke to someone at a senior figure. I don't think Liverpool will go to the press and start saying we're looking for a new manager. And all the sources, let's be honest, that is very, very consistent with everything we've heard on Anfield Index's side that's coming from the club, is that there's no plans to replace him. My own view, we should replace him.
I think when they say there's no plans to replace him, I believe that. I don't think there's anything imminent. I think in terms of general planning, when you go through a run like this, there has to be planning. There absolutely has to be. FSG are one of the most successful sports franchises in the world, and they're not at the level they're at without having contingency plans for pretty much every scenario. And once we've got into this run and we keep talking about it, 9 defeats in 12 games, there's no chance in hell that FSG haven't a contingency plan if this is to continue. Now, this is what we sit back and watch now. Does this continue? Is there an upturn in fortunes and it's temporary and then we default or go back to the level that we are at? And is this the level that we are at now? Now, you call it a world-class squad, and most people would call it a world-class squad. I call it a world-class squad with a few imbalances that need to be leveled out.
Oh yeah, like we said, there's 2 areas that need to be sorted.
But this is the crucial part now in terms of what happens. Because if we address those said areas in January, like we both agree they will, right? Let's call a spade a spade. Let's call it how it is. Let's say Gehi and Semenyo, right? Then what does that? Yeah, I mean, we're hoping. What does that indicate though for the future of a coach then? Because is that plans going ahead regardless of who the coach is? Because that's the club footballing director strategy, right? Or is that fully trusting the coach who has requested those players or positions to be brought in? Do you see what I mean? Because how do we know that the coach? What if a new coach doesn't fancy those players and has a whole different methodology in his head? These are the things that are unfortunately intriguing me now. And
no,
it shouldn't be like that.
I totally get it. At the end of the day, I have a feeling that the way this has gone, if you think about it, Liverpool have all the rumors that came out this week or the week before. I mean, they all come out at this point, don't they, when things are going bad? That Slot, by the way, sorry, Ali says, sounds like spin and damage control. And then Aldaf says, big up Gags and Grizz. There's a few more we'll go through in a sec. But there was rumors that Hughes made the decision to sell Diaz, not Slot. Slot wanted to keep him and sign him up. I'm not sure how true that is. That's just a rumor on the internet, on Twitter. I can't remember who came up with it, but it's there. Now, if that's the kind of decision making that's going on and it's going on from above, then you're right. This looks like it's a directive from the directors, the director of football.
I'd throw my weight behind that and say I believe that as well.
So if you believe that too, and I believe you, then we can both assume, and remember, we're assuming because we don't know, nobody knows, we can safely assume that the director of football is running the transfer staff, knows with Slot what they're kind of trying to do, and maybe what suits the squad, because if a new manager comes in, the squad's got to suit whatever style they've got. Now, this squad is suited to a three at the back, as long as they get some defenders in, a defender in. Now, I think at the end of the day, when they sold Diaz, all of us, and Nunes, we all assumed that there'd be a left winger too. And let's be honest, I'd heard we were 100% looking at a left winger. We couldn't get one in right at the end because the market just wasn't right for one. Maybe Semenyo would have cost a bit too much. Maybe we weren't even interested at that point. It's what he's done at Anfield and what he's done at the start of the season that's really impressed, but even more. But yeah, I think even though if Slot goes, a Gehi coming in is needed and a Semenyo coming in is needed, because where are we weak?
Regardless.
Yeah, because where are we weak, Grizz? We haven't got power on the wings. We haven't got a person who's going to take
power anywhere. We haven't got power. I'm telling you now.
We have power in the middle, but that's it.
The only person with any power and showing it, I'm sure Virgil and Konate have power, but they're not showing it, is Dominic Szoboszlai. The pace, the power, the energy in the whole team seems to be an absolute shambles right now.
I agree with Eldaf on this as well. We do need a 6-2. We do need a dedicated 6. So whoever comes in as a manager, I hope they believe in a 6, because I've heard from the grapevine, Slot does not believe in a proper 6.
Not in Klopp.
No, but he did. Fabinho was a proper 6, bro.
But he didn't believe in it, guys. He didn't believe in it. He brought in Fabinho, and obviously he was out of the team for quite a while, but he often used to talk about number 6. and sort of no, I believe, you got to remember he brought in Thiago Alcantara to play that role eventually. Klopp, I don't think Klopp was an avid believer in number 6.
I think the amount Fabinho ended up playing proved it did work, and then he went and bought Endo as well. He tried to buy Casado too. So, like, I think Klopp did believe in it. I think he showed this league, especially, you need that shield in front of your defense.
For sure.
Our best teams in the Premier League era have been with Mascherano Mascherano and Fabinho, right?
There is not a team in history of winning the Premier League that hasn't had a DM. Someone tell me otherwise. There hasn't. Even the Leicester City team had bloody Kante.
Yeah.
And we know the Keanes, we know the Vieiras, we know the Fabinhos.
All of the successful.
Every single team.
Who was it before Rodri?
Fernandinho, of course.
Just absolutely crazy. So I think if you're going to be successful in this league, you've got to have a real high quality one. There's no surprise that, Arsenal and Chelsea are doing well this season, and they're playing tomorrow, and Chelsea could get really close to them, but they would have decent players playing in those positions, and I think again it's a really interesting point, and I think Slot needs to give in on that, and we really need to get a strong 6 in as well. So if there's 3 players I choose, 3 positions I choose, it's a centre back, a DM, and the left winger to come in. Dare
I say it?
A right back as well.
No. I'm content when everyone's fit. Obviously, we'd have to have a real.
They don't stay fit. Bradley and Frimpong can't stay fit.
Well, Frimpong's a freak in terms of fitness injury situation. He's never been unfit or picking up injuries.
It's mad.
I was going to say we need to really scrutinize the Conor Bradley situation in terms of if we're going to keep him as our number 1 right back, we have to try to work out the situations with his injuries, because if he's going to be the Alisson of fullbacks, then we need another fullback, because then we can't solely rely on Frimpong as being our orthodox right back, in my opinion. I genuinely believe Frimpong will be slowly but surely developed into sort of a Salah replacement, whilst looking also at a Salah replacement, if you know what I mean. So before people have a fit and say, oh, does that mean we're not going to replace Salah with another attacker? I don't mean that. What I mean is Frimpong will be the Gakpo to the Semenyo, for example. Frimpong will be the alternative to a Salah replacement. And I think Semenyo is going to come and play on the right anyway.
That's take most position.
Hey, yeah, most position. But yeah, I think our tweaks, if they take place like we envisage and hope and pray, I don't think we're far off again. I know that sounds delusional right now. What I mean by far off is we haven't turned into total disasters overnight. I think a few tweaks and a bit of luck, and I think we'll be on the right path again. When I say tweaks, I mean 2 to 3 first-team signings like the ones we've mentioned. So, look, it's mad doom and gloom at the moment, and we deserve all the criticism that we're getting, including the players, including the coach. I think we're going to be good again very, very, very soon.
How soon, though, bud?
January onwards.
Oh, my God.
We're going to have to bear it. We're going to have to bear it. Look, we've looked at the fixture list before we went off to the international break, and we said, look, God willing, when we come back, we'll have a situation where the players will be rested, the fixture list will be slightly easier, and we can hopefully attack our position and solidify at least a Champions League spot. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened, but still the goal is the same. And I was going to ask you, what is our goal now for the remainder of the season? What's your objective, realistic or unrealistic, delusional or whatever you want to call it? What is your goals for the rest of the season? Be honest with me.
In the Premier League, qualify for Champions League, 100%, right? And then we must try and win some silverware, whether it's the FA Cup or the Champions League. We've got to go for it. We just have to. And you know, coming third or fourth in the league is something that we've got to aim for. We're not too far away still, thankfully. You know, we've got 3 league games that should be winnable for this squad. Obviously, I'm expecting them to lose all 3 right now because that's where I am. You know, in my belief of this team. But when you play West Ham away and you play Sunderland and Leeds at home, and then Leeds away, Sunderland at home, Leeds away, you've got to expect 3 wins, right? You've got to, like as a normal Liverpool fan would go in, yeah, we got to win those 3. If we get, let's say, God is kind to us, or the football gods are kind to us, and we win 9 out of 9, I think we're in a totally different position come next weekend, right? In terms of in the league, because it's mad. This league table's mad. But as Alexander just said, what the fuck is a Liverpool these days? Like they just don't know what a Liverpool is these days.
For you, earlier you said, and I didn't get to say my part. For you, it was the Nottingham Forest at home game that switched. For
Was
me,
it PSV for you?
For me, it was PSV, Gags.
Well, the mad thing about PSV was, and we haven't even talked about it, when we went 1-0 down, I was in Discord because we've got a Discord, by the way, guys. If you want to join our Discord, it's anfieldindex.com/Discord. So you can join it. And I do kind of free commentary, just text commentary on there whilst we're all watching the match. And when we went 1-0 down, I said, this could be 3-0. We could lose by 3 now. And everybody went, shut up, man. We're at home. It's PSV. I was like, we could lose by 3 now because I don't believe in this team. When we scored the equalizer, I was like, ha. I said, I'll take the draw right now, boys. And they all went, are you mad? I said, I will take this draw right now because I'm telling you, any kind of, like what happened in Forest, straight after the second half, they're going to go score. It's going to be a problem. And guess what they did second half? They went and scored the second. And then we got battered. And I was just like, the second half was so bad. As good as the first half, we did play well in the first half. Second half was so bad, devoid of any desire, control, passion. I feel sorry for everyone going to the game right now.
I think the first 10 to 15 minutes of the first half and the entirety of the second half was the most baffling, the most embarrassing, the most confusing set of 45 minutes in totality. No, sorry, 45 and 15, 60 minutes. The most baffling, and all of those adjectives that are used, of hour of football I've ever seen as a Liverpool fan. And that is saying something. It was clueless, heartless, brainless. We didn't have any idea of what we're doing or what we're trying to do. And again, unfortunately, that has to be changed or directed from the coach.
It does. You know,
I didn't know what we were doing. I don't think the players had a clue. And Gags, it's the worst feeling, or that question that you don't really want to ask, but we must ask. Have they down tools? Have they given up on this coach, Gags? Give me your honest thoughts and opinion on that, because it's the most hated question as a player or as a fan. No, don't say that. They've down tools. This club, 3 months later, after believing in him and all that, have down tools. It's a very difficult thing to prove. It's an impossible thing to prove, unless someone writes a book 10 years later and said, yeah, we had given up on Slot at that stage. Yeah. It's impossible to prove. What are your thoughts?
It's impossible to prove. But we both have been watching Liverpool for 40 years plus.
Yeah.
Right? Have you ever been more convinced of a team downing tools than this in your career? I mean, Hodgson, yes, we down tools, but this is after Hodgson. This is the 9 losses out of 12, losing 2 games back-to-back at home by 3 goals. 3 goals, losing by 9 goals in 3 games in a row total. -9 in the last 3. I have never experienced it in my life. I promise you, I just haven't. I can't remember feeling so devoid of any feeling. Like, I am laughing at the end of the games going, Like, people bantering with me doesn't even hurt. They all know, like, my mates that are Man United fans, they all know Gags just accepted this. We can't even battle with him now. He's just like, yeah, but shit. What are we gonna say? We won the league. I just keep telling him, I'm just so fucking glad we won the league last season. I got to witness it, experience it, live it. I got to fucking. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe those shirts every single day, the gods just went, yo, now you pay.
Football's a humbler.
Yeah, and to be fair, I'm taking it well. Like, life is going great. Okay, for me, touch wood, touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. Don't want to jinx my own life. I cannot let football destroy me and destroy my attitude, destroy my mood at home with my kids and my wife and, you know, my family around me. I have to try and really be strong to take this as this is part of life. We've been here before. But let me be honest, they've down tools, Grizz.
I wanna bring this comment up because I want to ask your opinion and give mine, I guess, or let people decide as well what they thought of the Curtis Jones interview. Because Comey, who's a regular watcher of us, thank you very much, Comey, says I started to worry about his management. I start to worry about losing players. Jones had to watch Macca stinkers week in, week out. Favoritisms can create a toxic atmosphere. Now, Curtis Jones, we know, came out after the game and said we need to put in a tackle or two, basically. Our energy and our aggression is non-existent, basically. I'm using my own words in terms of what he said, but pretty much that's what he meant. What was your thoughts on what he said? He said basically, no more talking. We've got to get out there and put a few tackles in and show them aggression. And this is Anfield, this is Liverpool. Because at the moment, we can do all the hairy-fairy stuff, but there's no conviction about game, and we're in the shit, basically, he said. I really liked the way he spoke.
I did. I agreed with him because when you watch the Forest game, how many times did we pull out of tackles with them? I didn't see it as much against PSV, but the real Forest game, Gakpo was pulling out of stuff. Grav was pulling out of stuff. You know, we could have just fouled them and taken a card, and they wouldn't have got on the break and scored off of it. I mean, Ali was back for Forest as well. We can't even say the keeper was bad. We just was really poor. Like, we were just really poor defensively again. And in midfield, we just didn't have the fight. So, yeah, I think Curtis has got every right to say what he's saying. Curtis, I know for a fact, is pissed. He's pissed at his treatment. You can tell, dude.
And rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let me be honest. He doesn't stay fit very often either. So,
well, to be fair to him, he's only been unfit once this season in terms of that period.
But it's like when he started playing 2 games in a row, he got injured again. So it's like, well, Curtis, I kind of understand why the manager's not going to play you every game because you're going to get injured. So you got to be played once every other week, once every week. You know, it's such a tough situation for Slot. Like I said, I love him for everything he did last season. I feel very sorry for him. I do not hate him.
He's a classy guy. He's a classy.
Let me just say the way he dealt with all the Jota stuff, everything, the way he's dealing with this as well. He's going to say shit now because he's under pressure.
Yeah.
I think I love him. He's a great guy, but I still say he's got to go. Like, both things can be true. You can still like a guy and how he's behaved at the club, and he's going to be a legend for winning the title, no matter what anyone says. But this drop off is. This drop-off is not acceptable for any Liverpool fan. We can be the most positive of all positives, Grizz. But like all the things we're discussing here, the lack of fight, the lack of wanting to win, a desire, it's all there.
I genuinely believe, guys, let's go back. Forest, City, Palace, and PSV. I genuinely don't know what a Liverpool goal looks like.
Like, this is the point. I'm coming again.
It was like tap-in was fine, you know, but we're devoid of any ideas, whether it's an attack or whether it's
or motivation. That's the key. He's devoid of any motivation, and that's what Comey's saying here. Smart and classy, but is he a good motivator? No. Is he a source of inspiration? He hasn't got any. Is he a good man manager? His substitutions have been awful. How good they were last year, they're as bad this year. Like, they've gone total 360, 180, whichever. Actually, 180 because 360 is stand back in the same position.
I wish we were. I wish it was a
Me too.
360.
I wish it was a 360. It's a 180. And, Neil's saying here, favoritism set in. Gakpo shouldn't be playing every game.
But this is the problem of, and I screamed it from the rooftops over the summer, stop keeping players that the coach doesn't trust and believe in, i.e. Gomez, Endo, Chiesa. If we brought in 3 players in those positions that Klopp believed in as first team options, we'd be fine. We'd be fine, Gags. But he doesn't believe in Chiesa, so he keeps keeping Gakpo. Rio is way too young. Don't know why we put out to the press and media that he's an option. Endo, he hasn't believed in 2 seasons since he stepped through the door, right? He told him he's not good enough. And Gomez, the proof's in the pudding. I can't understand that for a second, Mr. Gags. Endo, Gomez, and Chiesa. Baffling. The situation with him has been baffling for 2 years. And there's no sign of it ending until Slot loses his job. And that's the bit where I feel sorry for him, because he's very clearly not believing in them. Whereas the sporting director, the people that make those kind of choices have said, no, they must stay for now.
It just feels like we lost some South American grit in the team. We lost Diaz. We lost Nunes, who worked his ass off when he did play, but he couldn't score. And Jota, not South American, but had the grit too, between his teeth. So I think we lost a lot of grit and hard work from the team, and we didn't replace it. And I think Ekitike wants to work hard, but he's not ready for the league just yet. It'll probably take him a year to get there, because as you can see, he's picking up injuries here and there as well when he's trying to work. Like, he really tried to be intense first half. Oh, Trent as well. I think what we all knew is that we were going to miss something down the right hand side, but Mo is missing Trent so much. Mo played his whole career at Liverpool with Trent behind him. You can tell he's not the same player either. Maybe it's the Trent loss, but whenever Trent was injured, Mo was still good. So it's like you say, there's so many. We need to change the way we play, the formation we play as well, because we shouldn't be too reliant on that right back doing those things. And that's where we are at the moment. We're still reliant on someone to do some of those things that Trent used to do. Maybe having more players, a ball playing, like if Gehi came in, then you got 2 ball playing players at the back with Van Dijk and Gehi, right? Kanate can't pass a ball to save his life right now. He's awful. He's absolutely awful. And then if you've got more round the width and more in the middle, we need a really good DM that can pass a ball as well in the middle. So there's so much, even though they've done a lot. You get that fast player down one of the wings. You got plenty of strike force once Isaac is fit properly and Ekitike can start getting going. You got plenty. I'm not worried about the striker position once we start to sort out all of it around it. Wirtz, actually, when I look now at Wirtz, he's been playing great. How many chances have people missed that he's created as well? Loads. Like, he can create. When he plays, we actually have a bit of spark in us and he can do stuff with the ball, but we just don't have consistency up top with the players. And Mo's just not himself at all, right? All season, let's be honest. Either he's pissed with the manager, which, by the way, I've heard murmurs of it as well. Really pissed. So a lot of the hierarchy of the playing squad, remember, this is a squad that's stuck together for a long time. If they can influence each other in the squad, and if they've all turned on him, then they've turned on him, and they're going to win.
I kind of think that segues into tomorrow in terms of what do we do then? What we've talked about, selections and favoritism and players. West Ham away, and I don't think there's much enthusiasm between us. We're looking forward to. Normally we're bubbling when Liverpool are about to play.
I'm expecting us to lose tomorrow. Now, if it's anything else, I'll be surprised. Okay,
I think we're going to win.
That's fine. I'm happy that you're still positive. I'm going in with low expectations.
I'm not positive in terms of the situation. Absolutely. I think we're going to win tomorrow. Though.
I just can't see him beating Nuno. Nuno has our number with Forest, and Nuno came to Anfield when we were really good last year and beat us. And I just think it's the worst time to play a Nuno team when we're so low. He is going to get them.
As an opposition, it's the best time to play Liverpool. They're probably queuing. Every team's queuing up to play Liverpool right now.
And I've never had that feeling in my life.
That's an embarrassing feeling.
Oh, it's really bad.
It's
and like
feeling.
the only good thing I had was Everton beating Man United this week, but then that was even bad because Everton went above us.
It doesn't. Honestly, it doesn't. Yeah, it don't mean anything to me anymore. All that kind of stuff.
Chris is saying Forest are a lot better than West Ham. But they were still 19th, bro. You know, and someone saying a draw would be a good result versus West Ham tomorrow. That's how far standards have fallen for us as a team. So I just think he might need to change it up real big time here. He might need to play an Endo.
What's our option?
DM. Well, would you bring a DM in, proper one? Would you play two DMs?
Yes, but not Endo. And this is where I'm at.
So we don't have a DM. Who's the DM? Grav's not a DM.
We'll play a double pivot. Grav and Jones as a double pivot. But he's going to play Curtis Jones at right back again, isn't he? Because neither of our fullbacks are there. Unless he throws in Gomez, which is an option, which I think may happen tomorrow.
Macca's got to be dropped.
He won't be dropped, though.
And
this is what's bugging me.
If Wirtz is fit, does he come straight in?
I don't think he throws him straight in. Again, I think this is a game for Wirtz.
I do think so.
It's a big pitch.
Does Mo play? Does Isaac play? Isaac's got to play with Ekatike. Like, what the hell's going to go on, man? I have no idea. When you look at some of the players out, we got some quality, man. But they just don't want to play for him. Honestly, if Canale turns up tomorrow and starts just giving them the ball every 2 minutes again, you know what's on the... What did you think of the Madrid stuff? Coming out and saying we're not interested in him? That's like unheard of shit. Why would they do that?
I don't know if it's unheard of, but I just think that's the way they operate. We have to be used to it. They wash their dirty linen in public, whether it's incoming, outgoing, interest, no interest. That's how they operate. We're interested, we're not interested. And it's not Real Madrid saying it, it's just mouthpieces. It's the journalists that are connected. So it's not a club statement per se. Do you know what I mean? It's the same
would you even keep Konate right now?
No. And I'm a Ibu fan, man. I think he's gone.
I love him. Yeah, I love him as a person, but
he's lost it. I think he's lost it mentally, and that's a very bad place to be as a centre-back. Shall I say it?
Go on.
I think he's at that Lovren stage where there's no coming back.
He's awful.
You know when Lovren, there was no coming back after the Spurs type thing?
Yeah, he's been awful. He's been really bad. It's such a shame, bro.
So therefore, I think he starts tomorrow again because we've got no other option. I think Gomez comes in at right back as we try to pick a team. I think Gomez starts at right back. Don't know what your thoughts are.
He's having knee injections, isn't he? He's having injections.
He trained all week. We've got to play him.
I don't know.
No?
This is crazy stuff, bro. We don't have a fit right back, do we? So I can't play Dom there. We can't lose the quality of what we have in Dom. So you're right. Something's going to have to happen, right? And I just don't know. It's the first time in my LFC supporting life where I just don't bloody know what the heck we're going to do. I have no idea. Literally, Grizz.
Gomez has got to play one of the two. And I think it's going to be away to West Ham as opposed to Sunderland at home. That's my thinking.
Yeah. There's got to be one somewhere.
I think he's going to revert to Curtis Jones at right back at home to Sunderland because he'll feel that we can have more possession. So I think Gomez will play. I think Konate will play. I think Virgil will play. I think Kirkes will keep his place in the team. I'll let you pick the midfield.
Gomez will play. You're saying Gomez will play right back then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then obviously Dom's straight in. He's going to have to play Grav, although Grav's just been so bad. And Curtis. I just can't play Maka right now, bro. I'm sorry.
Nor can I, but he will.
Yeah, because he's a favorite, isn't he? Unfortunately. So Maka's just not been great and very slow. We need dynamism in there, and I know Curtis, Grav, and Dom will at least bring that. You know, we need a bit of fight, and Maka normally was the one who brought the fight. In there. So it's a shame that he's just not there with it. It's awful, mate. We are in trouble. We're in real
I
trouble.
think Jones is a dead cert. I think Sabozala is a dead cert, and I think Gravenberch is a dead cert. Then comes the choice whether we.
Ooh, Ramsey. What about Ramsey?
He won't play him. I would. Maybe not tomorrow, but against Sunderland.
Yeah, we are in this.
I think up front is an issue as much as the midfield, though, or the defense for that case. Because Isak looks 50% fit, but he has to start. Chiesa won't get a start. Doesn't matter what me and you say. I think
No.
Gakpo goes again. I think Salah goes again. So I think it's Isak, Salah, and Gakpo. Does that inspire you in their current states and forms?
No. What we need is players around Isaac to actually create something for him. Someone needs to have a chat with Mo and say, bro, can you just put the creative juices on? You don't need to score. Start creating for the guy in the middle so he gets some confidence so the team can build. And so then in the future, you can start scoring too because
There
people
is
are
something wrong there. I agree with you. There is something wrong there. Something
And
doesn't seem right.
with Gakpo, seriously, play Chiesa one game and let him fail. Let's just see what he brings. Let's just see what he brings on the left, please. Because we got to try. He'll bring effort for one thing. He'll try. And maybe a Gakpo later in the game against a tired West Ham is better for us.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, but he's got to do something.
Rio and Gakpo off the bench.
Rio's too young.
Verts will be in and around the squad, so he'll be an option on the bench as well. And I'm hoping
I want Frimpong back because at least he adds pace to this team.
Absolutely.
Before we go, we've got to go in a minute. Do you know when Mo's off to AFCON?
Late December.
So he's not going mid-December now.
Well, this is going to be decided, but this will be another indication, people. This will be another indication of the state of Mohamed Salah's mentality and brain with regards to the coach and Liverpool. If he decides to leave early, that will be a massive indicator for me and a negative one. Because Egypt never get their way. Mo always convinces them or whatever, and Liverpool convinces them to stay and go the latest. But if this time it turns and changes, it's not a good look. That's all I'm going to.
If he goes on the 11th, guys, he misses Brighton, Spurs, Wolves. If he goes at the end of December, he just misses. He gets to play those 3 games: Brighton, Spurs, and Wolves.
There you go.
We have a very, after the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. After the next 5 games, we have a pretty good.
Don't. I knew you were going to say that. That's why I said don't.
No. What am I saying?
Pretty good fixture.
No. The fixtures are all hard. I'm talking about the rest. Like, it's not like every single. It's like we've got 20th to the 27th. We've got the 13th to the 20th, 20th to the 27th. It's like 2 weeks with just 3 games. It's unheard of in December for us. So if they want to change a bloody manager, that's where you change it in the next 2 weeks, lads, because the manager will have so much training time. So much training time. It's unheard of at Christmas. So let me tell you, Hughes, Edwards, we love you. Sort it out, even if it's Jurgen. Even if it's Jurgen till May. Right? Whatever it's going to be, get something sorted, because I don't want to watch my team lose every week. I don't. It's not good enough. I'm not used to it, and I don't want to get used to it. And also, I don't want them to. I love those players. I want them to succeed. But they're obviously not going to succeed with the way things are right now. So whatever you got to pay, if it means we've got to give up an extra sign-in January, get the dosh sorted for whoever you need to sort and get those things organised. Forget Semenyo and Gehi for now. Get the manager shit sorted first.
I predicted we're going to win. On that note, guys, I know Gags is down, and I know majority of the fan base is down, and I am down as well. But as I said, what goes up must come down, and what stays down, or what is down, never stays down. So we will rise again. We will absolutely rise again. And I think starting from tomorrow, East London is where we're going to rise. And I think we're going to win tomorrow. I've really enjoyed this therapy session. It's been an absolutely therapeutic session today, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed it. And we will see you definitely next week. At what time and what day? We don't know, but we will, all things well and healthy, we will see you next week. And we should be talking about 2 huge, massive wins for our present, future. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Chat G&G. Hope you guys have feel a bit better about the situation. You know, there's only so much you can hype up, but we've tried our best.
Ari, he will be back with me next week, but I'll be back tomorrow post-match. So if you want to hear more of the Gags Loser Show, then yes, we'll be back right here.
So guys, tomorrow tune in to the post-match show. Make sure this guy gives me my flowers where I said Liverpool will win 2-0.
Yeah, they need Grizz as a motivator for sure. 2-0. I just can't see us not conceding. But anyway, guys, enjoy and up the Reds. Let's get them back up. Up the Reds.
Come on.